Hamadaki api Nick Tilsen and Machi api Chante Awashten api Chuzapalo. This is Nick Tilsen. We're going live here from the Indian Collective headquarters here in the sacred Chesapa. It's an honor to be with each and every one of you. I've been running a little bit on Indian time, so that means we're right on time. It's Thanksgiving today, and we are fired up about the release of the LANDBACK album. And we have some performances here today by a bunch of badass indigenous artists from different nations. I want to give shout outs to the artists: Nataanii, Antoine Edwards, Tufawon, Gunner Jules, Ekichetu, Rollie Raps, Lady Midnight, Bear MC, Jibri, and Live the Artist. Also big shout outs to the LANDBACK team that executive produced this with Krystal, Demetrius, and Nadia, along with the sound, audio, and visual team here at Indian Collective. Wick Willie, or Willie White, Lorenzo, Willie Mays, and Marty, along with the art that was prepared and put together by Jordan MC, or Jordan Breen here from Indian Collective. We wanted to support artists. A lot of the work we do here at Indian Collective is about investing into indigenous power and building the collective power of indigenous people. And we understand artists to be the interpreters of our culture. The artists, the culture bearers, to be the interpreters of our culture and of the movement that we're building. And so this was a unique opportunity that came along to collab with these artists and lift them up in their art, lift them up in their rap and their music and their vocals. And now they get to share this with the rest of the world. This has been a long time coming. If any of you want to know where this came from, this music came from the front lines. This music came from the lived reality of all of these artists who've all struggled through their lives in different shapes or form, who have taken stands on the front lines, who are making waves and making a difference for indigenous people in our land everywhere. And so this was an opportunity to share that music with the world. And so it's been a great honor. As we do this work and as we release this album, we also want to honor the warriors, men and women, that have come before, who have sacrificed their lives and their freedom for the foundation that we stand on today. And this is a continuation. And so many of you elders and warriors that have come before, if any of you wonder if we're going to continue on the struggle for our liberation in our land, the answer is yes. And that's what we're here to celebrate in today. And what a better day to do it than Thanksgiving. This day is a hallmark, capitalistic, colonizer holiday. And all throughout indigenous communities and Indian country, many of us are fighting to change the narrative. Because if we change the narrative, we can change the outcomes for our people. And LANDBACK is a war cry for the liberation of our people and our land. And we're actively working towards those things. We're actively getting our land back by just about every means necessary. These songs that you'll hear talk about that journey, talk about the actions that are being taken, and they're also radically imagining what is in the future for us as a people. And for us, one of the origins of this was the action that we took on July 3rd of last year to prevent the President of the United States at the time coming into the Oceti-Sakowin treaty lands without the free and prior informed consent of our tribal leaders. And so we took a stand that day. And for a lot of us, it was a healing. A lot of us post Standing Rock, we needed something to uplift our spirits, and that day was one of those days for us. It reinstilled this strength and power into us as a people. And since that time, we've launched the LANDBACK campaign. And so we are honored to be here today and to share this powerful, beautiful music. This music is by indigenous people, for indigenous people. So we hope that people bump this music on the front lines and everywhere throughout the indigenous world. So happy listening and viewing. Doksha ake wachiankikte.
Thanksgiving, the myths surrounding Thanksgiving show us that Thanksgiving is about honor and friendship and food and niceties and this kind of harmony of cultures. But the reality is very different from that.
The reality is, again, and I can't say it enough, it's the big lie. This country has lied from day one. John Smith, who was Captain John Smith of the English military, who co-founded Jamestown. And when he left Jamestown to go back to England, he first went to Cape Cod area, Connecticut, Massachusetts area, and he spread smallpox and measles-filled blankets among the Indian people. Over 90% of the Indian population of that entire area was wiped out. Hence, when the Pilgrims came, they in fact built their village, the Pilgrim village, on the ashes of the alleged capital of the Indian nation at that time, and went on from there with the big lies. In fact, they would not allow Indian people into Plymouth Village unless they had business to do with someone inside the village. And then never did they break bread or eat with Indian people. Not once. In fact, the opposite was the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm the one, I'm the one. Get it how I got it for the people in the land of the fam. I'm the man, I'm the one. Never see me switch up, come around town and they trip up. I'm the one, I'm the one. Need a house in the hills, need a house in the hills. Yeah, yeah. Only recognize real, yeah, yeah. Land back. If you ain't with it, better stand back. Little homie got supreme on his man bag. See them red flags and don't step, I can't stand that. Fuck Trump and anybody that follows. Slam back or die trying as a motto. I see them whiteys on the race and shit, pull it, wanna dump it with the Black Hills gold on the hollows. I speak cause my words hold the power. I speak to my youth to empower. Fuck the police cause they cowards. They do the same as FIG in them towers. Ain't nothing but plays the community. Them bullets won't choose between you and me. I smack a cop so hard he think they two with me. Jewelry on my chest shining so beautifully. I hate the rich side of town, make it indigenous, it's better in black and brown. Tell me you love how that sound, tell me you got all 10 toes to the ground. Give me that go, and I slide through, give me the vibes that I can do. What I like, take back all of the lands, not just what I might do, it's what I'm gon' do. So what you gon' do? Cause I'm the one. Get it how I got it for the people in the land and the fam. I'm the man, I'm the one. Never see me switch up, come around town and then trip up. I'm the one, I'm the one. Need a house in the hills, need a house in the hills. Yeah, yeah. Only recognize real, yeah, yeah.
People fear what they don't understand, and what they don't understand is we got a demand. We about to pull up with a plan, y'all need to come off of the land. So give me them lots and give me them acres, give me them plots, we ready to take it, ready to reclaim it and replace it with everything sacred. Y'all already know what I'm saying. I'm talking about hectares, I'm talking about mountains, I'm talking about valleys with rivers and fountains, I'm talking about forests with beautiful views. We know what to do to any abuse. We've been doing it for cycles upon cycles all around the sun. They been mismanaging the soil the same way they mismanaging they funds. We be on fed up, so the people getting strapped up, pulling up in a black truck, about to act up because they time done passed up, and that's us in the custom master. Breaking it down, the bass shaking the ground and maintaining the sound and making name for the town or the city that we come from. Res or the barrio, tenement builders bumping LANDBACK audio.
I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. Yeah, yeah. I'm the one, I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. LANDBACK. Got a chopper in the trunk of the hatchback. Burn the stage, better pass that. Left the Reds like where the cash at. For the fans that we bounce back. Niggas on the warpath. Looting each house like your DoorDash. You're on stolen land and you know that.
Your ignorant ass that ignores that. This the reclamation of our lost souls going coast to coast. Yeah, these natives know that I go for broke. Nataanii means the gold. I mean, this shit's so dope. I might overdose. I've told you once before, I'm a bad man. Leave your body in the badlands. In the caption for the way I'm acting. About that action. Keep talking that shit, then we scrap it.
On the one. Do this shit for my nephew who locked up in the system. The one, I'm the one.
I'm a savage little homie.
I'm with this and I don't never play
Victim, the one. Common man, Nick J, we Chasha, hope you understand.
I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. I'm the one, I'm the one, yeah.
I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, what a way to start that live. Peveshev relatives, Mene Wostat Nani have, my name is Krystal Tubles. I'm Oglala Lakota, Northern Cheyenne. I'm also the director of the LANDBACK campaign, and just really humbled and honored to be in this space this evening with Nataanii and with the other artists that will be joining us and all of the artists that showed up here and put all of their love and energy and passion and commitment to our people into this album. But just want a brief welcome, and I'll hand it to Nataanii to introduce himself.
Thank you. Hamatakyapi, Shante Washte Nape Chizapalo, Nataanii Nez and Machapalo. My name is Nataanii. I'm Oglala Lakota, Umaha and Dene, and I'm one of the artists and one of the curators of the LANDBACK album that is powered by Indian Collective. Yeah, so that's who I am.
Yeah, thanks, Nataanii. Man, first and foremost, I just want to again thank and acknowledge all the artists. You know, Nick listed them out for us, but this was a long journey to get to this point, and there was a lot of work, a lot of behind the scenes work happening. You know, even the fact that we started a little bit late, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces to make something like this happen and to pull people together in this way and to make sure that voices are uplifted and that we, you know, as Willie White said, that we're making the artists look good and that we're uplifting them, and that was the goal, is to make sure that their voices are uplifted and make sure that they are being highlighted and just lifted up here. But, you know, I'll maybe let Nataanii share a little bit about how the album came to be. You know, Nick gave a little context of July 3rd and the action. You know, Nataanii and I were also both arrested there, you know, and we were there all together making that stand. And from that came a lot of vision and how we move forward. So I'll let Nataanii share a little bit how the album came to exist.
Yeah, I was telling Krystal earlier, when we were at the action, some of the people from Indian Collective were playing a couple of my old songs, one being The Radical, which has my dad on it, Russell Means, and then the other being Warrior, and they were kind of just shuffling back and forth, kind of nonstop. They played it a while. So after the action happened and, you know, all the arrests were made, the courts, all of that, I think I was in Minneapolis at the time, and I was talking with Tone, and I was like, man, we should make a, because we heard about the LANDBACK campaign being launched in October, and I was like, man, bro, we should make a mixtape for them or an album. I was like, because they need, like, every revolution needs a soundtrack. It needs something to rev the people up. So, you know, I got in touch with Nick. I got in touch with Krystal. I've known them for years, you know, through the movements, through these actions, and they were more than down. And from there, it kind of we just hit the ground running. We went and recorded in Phoenix, Arizona, and Mesa, Arizona, and we have music videos done. And it kind of took a while to get the ball rolling again, but with the help of Indian and everybody at the LANDBACK campaign, man, it just worked out so smoothly, And you'll see it here on the live performances or the pre-recorded performances, how dedicated our people are to just helping each other out. And that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Nataanii. That was beautiful. Yeah, you know, and just add a little bit of narrative around thanks-taking and like why we chose this. You know, you heard Nataanie's dad in the beginning before we started and sharing about what this day really means. Like, you know, and so we felt like this was a really important date to release this album and to reclaim the narrative, but also to not stay stuck in the past, in our trauma, in our pain, but to allow our artists to imagine a future for us. And that is something that like Nick Tilsen always talks about, is like our artists are able to radically imagine a future for us. And he always says like the greatest days are ahead of us. And so this album represents that. Their voices represent that. It's oftentimes our artists who see these things way before the general public see these things. And they're talking about it, and they're drawing it, they're speaking it, they're singing it, they're doing those things. And then the rest of us come along with them. And so for me, this album and this day is about that. It's about radically imagining a future that we want and that we see. And you'll hear it throughout the songs that are played today. You'll hear the lyricism. And we'll sit and we'll speak with some of the artists too and ask like what they were thinking and what made them write those lyrics and what they are trying to convey. But it's a really powerful day for us to release this and for us to reclaim who we are and to imagine who we are going forward. Yeah. And this is just a brilliant group of artists that sometimes I don't even have the words to say like how powerful of an experience it was to have everyone together and to share in that energy. So with that, I'll pause there and we'll move into the next song.
Awesome.
Music in 4, 3, 2.
Quick to pull the port up, say the words that meet your quarter, frontin' like you finna pull up. We've been ready, what's the hold up? Cause your words don't fit your intentions. I can see right through your deception. You just pull another caper, push the pen across the paper, break the promises they made you just to cash out on a waiver. Had us live out your bad decisions. Let the white lights cloud up that vision. I need more. I need more. I need more transparency. Let me see something more.
Seems crystal clear. Seems crystal clear. I ain't tryna hear nothing insincere. Nothing insincere. I need transparency. Seems crystal clear. It seems crystal clear.
I ain't tryna hear nothing insincere. Nothing insincere. I need transparency. 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 I need transparency. 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 I need transparency.
Tell me why you capping. You don't have to act so bad, just relax it. Traded info, truthful info. Get it tenfold, we could then go past the intro from the get-go. I shouldn't need a translator just to understand where you're coming from with no graph paper. Matter of fact, I'll be back later. When you're done, talent tells you little fabricator. Have you heard, what's a man without his word, That's a man without a word, quick to turn on you or her. Doesn't matter who you were, all that matters is agendas you ain't seeing in the words.
Seems crystal clear, it seems crystal clear.
I ain't tryna hear nothing insincere. Nothing insincere.
I need transparency.
Seems crystal clear. Seems crystal clear.
I
ain't tryna hear nothing insincere. Nothing insincere.
I need transparency, transparency, transparency. I need transparency, transparency, transparency. I need transparency.
Seeing, deceiving, while you're leaving, disregarding villains. I'm in tune with the frequencies, listening, understanding. My soul has lived through centuries, music industries causing mental deficiencies. That's a liability, like a white chick claiming Cherokee. I'm awakened with no degree, rooted like a tree with the utmost respect and modesty. I'm honest as it is necessary to think free as is what I wanna be.
It seems crystal clear, it seems crystal clear. I ain't tryna hear nothing insincere, nothing insincere. I need transparency, it seems crystal clear, it seems crystal clear. I ain't tryna hear nothing insincere, nothing insincere. I need transparency, transparency, transparency. I need transparency, transparency, transparency. I need transparency. Ooh, na 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 na. I ain't tryna hear nothing. I ain't tryna hear nothing. I ain't tryna hear nothing. Na na na, na na na, na 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 na. I need transparency. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of love that they don't show. Gotta know what it is, what it ain't though. Walk up in the building full of angels. Got the bag on my mind, what I came for. Bag on my mind, what I came for. Got the bag on my mind, what I came for. It's a lot of love that they don't show. No, the money's steady saying what you change Going for. Through changes, music is medicine. Use it to go to new places. Learning new phrases, different tribes, different languages. Grew up in the country, no paving, shit is dangerous. But we really living out here, living without cages. What is freedom work, but it's feeling like vacation. Pull up in the Tesla, looking like a spaceship. Top off range, not that thing about the state. And you want that reputation, but weigh out dedication. Mama taught me life's a celebration. A lot of people thought I was brought up for speculating. My baby's bring me happiness, I'm emulating. All my big brothers and sisters, I appreciate them. It's a lot of love that they don't show. Gotta know what it is, what it ain't though. Walk up in the building full of angels. Got the bag on my mind, what I got the bag. Bag on my mind, what I came for. Bag on my mind, what I came for. It's a lot of love that they don't show. It's the same, what you change for. Let me step inside the glow. They be choosing on the bros. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I can freely find a zone. Have a TV play my songs. Have a man play my songs. We won't ever get along. Vibe, red stone. Rose head is set in stone. Speak my language. Shorty is supplying entertainment. Fake will always be on some fake shit. Dialing on my phone, hit the main shit. They mainline the music. She feeding me and feel like I'm on some connoisseur shit. This is what it feel like when the truth is. They told me dumb it down, I went stupid. It's a lot of love that they don't show. Gotta know what it is, what it ain't though. Woke up in the building full of angels. Got the bag on my mind, what I came for. Bag on my mind, what I came for. Bag on my mind, what I came for. It's a lot of love that they don't show. Got the money stay the same, but it's changed for. Love that they don't show. Gotta know what it is, what it ain't though. Walk up in the building full of angels. Got the bag on my mind, what I came for. What I came for. What I came for. Yeah, yeah. What I came for. What I came for. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
So those past three performances, I'll start from the beginning. The first one was LANDBACK, featuring Antoine, myself, Gunner, and Tufawon. The next was Transparency, featuring Lady Midnight, Bear MC, Gunner, and who's the fourth one? Rollie Raps, yeah. And then the last one you just seen was No Love, featuring Gunner, Jules, and Ekichetu. These songs are off the new LANDBACK album, which you can now get exclusively on Bandcamp.com. The link is in the bio of all these lives, so go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nataanii. Cool. Well, we have some of the artists that are featured in all three of those songs that we just played. So I want to bring them into this space. You know, welcome Gunner, Bear, Rollie, Keech. Maybe I'll give y'all each like just quick moment to introduce yourselves. We'll start with Gunner.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, my name is Gunner. Gunner Jules. I'm Sichangu Lakota from the Rosebud Sioux tribe. You know, I'm very grateful to be a part of this, be a part of the work and you know, the LANDBACK campaign and contributing. So I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, Gunner. Cool. We'll have Bear introduce herself next.
Yo, my name is Bajo Pamayae, otherwise known as Bear MC. I'm from Taos Pueblo, New Mexico, representing all the Pueblos in the Southwest. Shout out everybody watching back home. I'm excited about this project because it's going to really uplift a lot of people. And it's definitely uplifted me and everybody in this project and, you know, who's been supporting it has been, you know, really great. And I'm just happy to be a part of all of it. So, yep, here to speak.
Awesome. Thanks, Bear. Welcome. We'll move over to Rollie. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Rollie Raps. I would speak my native language, but a lot of you wouldn't understand that, so I'll refrain from doing that. Just happy to be here. And yeah, LANDBACK.
Awesome. Thanks, Rollie. Welcome. Cool. Well, last but not least, we'll hand it over to Ekichetu to introduce himself.
Hi, Medakiapi. Colton Sierra Machiapi Naha Ekichetu Machiapi. My name is Colton Sierra. They also call me Ekichetu when I make music. I'm from Porcupine on the Pine Ridge Reservation, and I'm just happy to be a part of something so monumental.
Awesome. Thanks, Keech. All right. Welcome, y'all. I want to start out with just a question around the album itself and what it means for you to be a part of a project like this, each of you. So whoever wants to jump in first, I'll hand it over to you.
I can go first. I'm a singer-songwriter producer. I've been doing this majority of my life at this point. It's been, you know, Tawny, Tone, you know, been the bros we've been working for. All of us have our solo careers that we've been working on. And we've come across paths, and they asked me to do it. So it was a no-brainer for me to be like, yeah, I'm about it. What is it? What we're doing? And I think like a lot of times when you're creating, sometimes it becomes much more, much bigger than what you even anticipated. And we just knew that we were gonna try to represent the best we could in this project. Make it down to Phoenix, pretty much living a dream, kind of like an artist retreat. And the rest of it kind of just happened organically. We were in the studio doing what we do normally, and you know, we didn't know what we were gonna create. But the first day in the studio, we ended up knocking out 4 tracks, and then the rest kind of just kept going from there. And to be a part of a project like this, it's what I love most about this work is creating, collaborating, working with other indigenous artists and spreading our stories, our narratives from, you know, and what better time to release it. We made it around this time, but, you know, things taking, the truth, reconciliation, and the messages that we have on the album, you know, it's all what we believe in and what we've come to be while finding out more about our truth and where we come from, and realizing our roots and things that happen and have happened that are becoming more and more light being shed on it. So
It's huge. It's big for our people, big for all indigenous people, all people around the world. It's going to have a big impact.
Oh man, thank you for sharing that, Gunnar. Does anyone else want to jump in about what this album and being a part of this project means to you?
I'll go next.
For me,
I forgot to
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Bear.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
I forgot to mention earlier, I'm from the Sichango Oyate, Rosebud. This album means a lot to me just because, like, generations from now, they'll be listening to this, you know, this music's going to last a long time. And I'm glad to, me and Gunnar both representing Rosebud and, voicing a lot of people. I would hope so. You know, a lot of people share the same beliefs as us, and we really put our all into this. There's a lot of tears shed in the studio, a lot of laughter. You know, a lot of emotion went into this project. And for me personally, I would have never been a part of it. It wasn't for my brother Gunnar. So I just wanted to say again to him, thank you for inviting me out to Phoenix. It was like one of the best times of my life. Nicest studio I've ever been in. And, I love this project.
Cool. Thank you for that, Rollie. Bear, I heard you earlier. You want to jump in?
Yeah. Well, I feel like what we do now matters for generations to come. How are we going to leave our mark and how we're going to be remembered, because we're, the future ancestors, and this project is definitely, going to open up a lot of minds, and with the youth especially. And I think that's important to, be that change, break the cycle of, generational trauma, and stay strong and, go back to the roots. And it's also amazing too that, we're all from different tribes coming together for this project. And it was very powerful in the studio. I shed some tears because it was just a beautiful feeling to be around such, powerful warriors, So it's overwhelming in a way, because just got to be real about that, like, because this is a touchy subject. It's a movement. It's becoming like it's been a way of life pretty much. Having that resiliency. But I feel like, if we bring awareness about going back to our roots, that's our strength, our culture, our, community. When we heal ourselves, we heal, our families, our communities. And, I'm just, once again, excited to be a part of this project because I get to speak my mind on that. Being a Pueblo woman, it's kind of almost unheard of, to be a rapper or MC. And I'm, I stand in solidarity with all the women, and especially. So thank you, everybody who's, contributed to this project. Thank you for Nataanii and giving me the opportunity. The Indian Collective, it's been amazing.
Thanks, Bear. Thanks for sharing that. I definitely agree. And I so appreciated having women on this album, and like having your voice in Live and Lady Midnight's being present. I mean, y'all rounded it out and brought it together. And so just so much gratitude. But last again, but not least, Keech, if you want to add anything about what being a part of this album has meant to you.
So today, I saw the Bandcamp link, clicked on it, and I just went through the songs. And I was just driving around Rapid City, South Dakota, and it felt good to just have the radio up, you know, and have some representation playing in the speakers, man, for real. Like driving around and just hearing like, come up off that land, you know? And it just felt good. It felt good to drive around and to know that, look, I was in the studio when I heard that. I was there for the influences and the conversations in the studio. And like, this is bigger than I've ever, like, I recorded off a Mac, like with no mic, just speaking in the computer. And now I was there with a bunch of crazy good artists. And this is what came of it. And it feels good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again to all you guys for coming out, for being a part of it, and for being fearless, you know, and representing yourselves and your family and your nations in a good way on this music, you know. And it's important that people hear us in the now, in the 21st century, and who we are now, you know, and what we have to say. So thank you guys, Wopila.
Thanks for that, Nataanii. Actually wanted to ask you, Nataanii, being a part of this album and being the person, you and Antoine, that brought everyone together, but also, like, you know, we've known each other for a while, and I know the home studios that y'all put together and that, you know, are rigged up, and like, you just, you know, y'all do this work no matter what.
Yeah.
With like a little bit, like, you can do a lot. And so just wanted to hear from your perspective of like, yeah, like, what does being a part of this project mean for you?
For me, it means that we're always going to be here. Our voices will always be here. Us as individuals, as musicians, as artists, there's a lot of times where we're alone and we self-doubt ourselves. We grow up in a place on the res where there's not a lot of outlets for art or for music, and it can also drive you a little crazy to not express yourself. And I've seen it time and time again, you know, people get discouraged, sell their stuff, and then they go off the deep end, you know, whether that be into addiction or even to suicide. You know, it's important that we have this outlet. And when we contacted you guys, you know, and you guys were like, shoot, you know, where do you guys want to go to record this? I told Nick, I was like, hey, we could record in a closet. We have our own equipment, or, you know, we could go to a studio. And he's like, go to a studio, go to a big studio. And we're like, bet, you have to say less. We know which one to go to. And being able to be there, we're in a space where so many other artists created. You know, Lil Wayne, Mac Miller, you could feel that presence. And just being with these guys, especially Tone and everyone, man, we just fed off of each other. And we created this beautiful piece of work. Beautiful. And each one of these artists, in their own right, are really dope. And I encourage everybody to go follow them. Gunner Jules, Bear MC, Rollie Raps, Ekichetu, they all have amazing music. And they all come from their communities where they are learning their language, where they do take part of their ceremonies, where they are raising families, you know, and they are deep into their traditions and cultures. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, thank you for that, Nataanii. Really quick, before we transition to a break, I want to offer, you know, the audience the chance to be able to follow y'all and to support y'all. So if you want to share, you know, some real quick final words, and then where they can find your music and where they can support you at. We'll start with Gunner.
Yeah, so you can follow me. All my socials is going to be Gunner Jules. Jules is spelled Jules. Here, I'll comment on the chat right now. But also, you can find my music on all streaming platforms. YouTube, I have some videos up. We're also in the works of many more things. So just to keep up what we're developing, building on, and keeping up with our journey. You know, a lot of us work together, so you'll find us on each other's socials and whatnot. But yeah, so Gunner, Gunner, Jules, Jules. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to linking with everybody and staying in touch.
Thank you, Gunner. Well, Bear, where can we find your work, and any last minute thoughts?
So, you can find my social media on Instagram. I just have Instagram. I don't have Facebook or anything else. But I do have an email too. But my Instagram handle is b3ar.3mc at, wait, yeah, that's my Instagram. But my email is the same as my Instagram handle, but at gmail.com. And I have music on SoundCloud. I don't have an album out yet. That's going to be in the works soon, so stay tuned for that. And you follow me on my social media.
Awesome, thank you. Rollie, where can we find your work? And do you have any last minute thoughts?
Hey, on Instagram, Rollie Raps. You can also find me on SoundCloud. More music on the way. Just wanted to share the message of support native talent, whether whatever it may be. I got this from my buddy Young Keto. This is Antoine's merch. I got Gunner's merch behind me. Don from here in Rapid City. And, just support one another, be supportive, share the love. The more love I get, the more better I feel and the more music I make. Sometimes I be down with myself and stuff, but, man, just share the love. LANDBACK, you guys know what it is. That's all I got. Midakuye oyas.
Thank you, Gunner. Well, Keech, any last-minute thoughts, words you want to share, and where they can find your work and support you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Ekichetu, Ekichetu. My last thoughts for this is just, I think I'm just going to continue with Rollie saying, just support indigenous artists in any way possible, whatever they do, T-shirts, beadwork, ribbon skirts, if you're not buying, share it, send it out. We are on the path for self-sufficiency in this way, and we can all rely on each other to keep building up. And I'm excited.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining. I know you've been on the background waiting for a minute for this, so just so much gratitude and love to each one of you for being here and for joining us today. And like they said, go buy those songs, buy the album, check them all out individually. And we're gonna get ready for our next song right after this break.
All right, and up next we have a performance to a song called Broccoli. The song is lit. I'm talking litty. It features my brother Antoine, Jibri Bell, and Rollie Raps. So you guys will like this one for real. Go download the album.
I see them posting on socials, racist and now they all vocal. It's a pandemic, it's used to wear hoods in the gown, now they in badges, spinning the blocks in the hill. I'm in the plains, I'm not local, I got my fans from the east to the west. I'm with my people, gon' city to city, y'all living so bougie and eating the best. I take a ride through the country, acknowledge lands and original people who live on them. I hate to see all these colonizers making money, colonizers getting lit on. Tell them come up on that land, tell them go back where they came from. Tell them if it's up to me or my natives, we strapping up ready to take them. Bitches is goofy. Fuck Donald Trump. Who with the shits? Mad about looting the target, but living off lens from a lick. Don't tell me shit. Gotta keep talking that real and smacking goofy till it click. And if any homie your mind feeling
some type of way you could get the fuck up, now it's split.
I see our people out on the front lines for our allies in similar fights to our own. Fighting for land and no water, cause Mother Earth has been and always will be alone home. No running from smoke. Bring all the smoke, cause I want it. Stand up and stand by, we ready to run up and run it. We'll die for this shit, it ain't none. Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them if it's up to me or my natives, we strapping them ready to take them off.
Imagine if it went extreme. Just a bunch of niggas with some AR-15. All my sisters and my brothers standing with me, looking at the hills, about to execute a big scheme. But we don't wanna get violent. Just give me the keys to that house. I need you out. This is your notice. Know this shit was overdue. Know a bunch of young locotas, they'll be coming over too. If you're running, they'll be gunning. They'll be running over you. Let's go. From Ite, oh my Haju, young see Chongu from the plains. Taking names, buying land. Look, little boy, we ain't the same.
Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Tell them if it's up to me or my natives, we strapping up ready to take them. We ready for war, we ready to fight. We ready to fight. All these corporations think they can take whatever they like. GE News Corp, Disney, Viacom, I'm on the CBS. All these corporations, they control what we want in this dress. Get up off our land. Get up off our land. Hey, natives with me. You don't understand. Come up off our land.
Tell them go back where they came from. Come up on that land. Come on that land. Tell them go back where they came from. Let's go. Come up on that land. Tell them go back where they came from.
Go back where they came from. Tell them if it's up to me and my natives, we strapping up ready to. Land back, hey. Land back. her come up over land. Tell her go back where they. Tell her come up over land. Tell her go back where they. Tell her come up over land. Tell her go back where they came from. Tell them if it's up to me and my natives, we strapping them, ready to take them. Bah. We taking it all. We taking it back. ND collective. We on full attack.
Real quick, I think we got the line back with that one. We got it.
Flowing through, water so pure, so clean, I want it all. Land back to the people, freedom from the evil, I want it all. Air so pure, I'm tired of the tears from my mother, want it all. Yeah, want it all. This a gift from our ancestors, living and we able. Free to choose who we pray to. Without our children getting ripped from our arms, dying in the name of their God. With our eyes open now, creating lines between our people, like they put all of them lines to the earth. Putting claims to our mother like they own her. Blurring our connections to the soil, to the water, to the trees, and it hurts. It's time to work, yeah. It's time to work, yeah. I know we human, we not perfect. I want our ancestors seeing how we hurt and know we missing, know we working. Yeah. Standing, singing his disciples. Pray to heal us from the problems. No, we walk and live in prayer, so the actions what we need is what we want. Sweater Wakanda, swear I want it all. Yeah. I want it all. Land back to the people, freedom from the evil. I want it all. Tired of the tears from my mother, want it all. I want it all.
Yeah, alright. I'm down to earth for what it's worth. Put in the work, a part of the process leading up to my birth. Lifelong, think of what could have been. Look in and I see my reflection on the water. Respect the sacred, life is what you make it. Be the change, cause I can't take it anymore. Take me back to times I used to live before. To times I used to live before.
I got an image in mind with a feeling divine. Why do I feel it go away from me? Take over cities as mine, stars glisten and shine. I've been focused on all these things for me. You know the universe calling, they don't pick up. I got the signal ready, they don't ever listen. So we headed to the spring, hoping that we don't fall. Cause it's all year round, you know that we want it all. Rivers flowing through, water so pure, so clean, I want it all. Yeah, land back to the people, freedom from the evil, I want it all.
I want it all. Yeah. So my brothers and my sisters for the fire, for the fire. Light it up, light it up. Burn the city to the ground. Burn the city to the ground. Light it up, light it up. Burn the city to the ground. Burn the city to the ground. Light it up, light it up. Burn the city to the ground. Burn the city to the ground. Light it up, light it up.
Come back to me.
Come back to me.
What always was will be again forever. Past this pressure, past the problems, past the poison, past potential, past the present. That's a promise love will follow. Past the present. That's a promise love will follow. Past the soul.
Oh yeah.
Land back to the people.
Land back to the oh yeah. Land back to the people. Wow, yeah.
Check, 1, 2, check. Nataanii means Indian Collective, LANDBACK, Volume 1. Nakota, we say, Uchima Kakino Honki GZP. Let's go. 2020s, I'm manifesting by any means. Reclaim the sacred, I'm taking back every fucking thing. You take forever, but I never fiend for the creed. Get it in, I a Russell means. Matrilineal societies over kings. Echoes of the ancestors when I'm in the hills. I had to let go of these inhibitions for these bills. Off balance and off key, I'm trying to find ways to get back to my center, connected heart and mind. Star songs to the east when I wake up. Lucid dreams when I sleep, flying my way up to the solar system. Faster for a vision. Do you hear me crying? Or when I pray in English, too many friends dying, so I gotta make it. Off the reservation. Shout out all my natives.
By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, by any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means.
Tupac, Gandhi, Lenin, Che Guevara, JFK. Once you making change, then they take your life away. Malcolm, Martin, Newton, Hampton, just to name a few. Blossom as a rose, then they rip you from the root. Brain on autopilot, brain on automatic cruise. They don't like alarm clocks, they want us to snooze. They want us to sleep, wanna hurt us like sheep. There's power on the res, and soon we'll be elite. By any means, I understand what lifetime means. We're taking everything by any means. Indian collective by any means. By any means, we're taking everything by any means. We're taking everything by any means. We only giving out positive energy.
I had to hustle like Devin Booker up in the bubble. Ashy knuckles and calluses as I grab my double. Slaying suddenly need to grab my shovel. Throwing rubble on top of you, man, you should've shuffled. It's time for supper for me, for you it's time to suffer. I ain't no sucker, I'll call you out, make you start to stutter. Star-studded, may Paul put in that long shot. By any means, we getting dreams, they on lie. I'm Pac, I'm hot, homie, it's non-stop. On top, that drop made me a monster. Let me loose in the hills, I'll get that land back. The lease is up and we didn't plan that.
By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, by any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means, we'll take our land back. By any means,
By any means, by any means, take a look. By any means, by any means, take a look back. Take a means, by take a look back. Take a land back, take a land back. By taking means, by back. By taking everything back. You can't get this land back. Take our land back. You can't get this land back. We'll take our land back.
All right, and those last two videos were, what was the one before this one?
We got Want It All.
Oh, Want It All. Yeah, and that was with
That's with
everyone.
Antoine, Bear MC, Ekichetu, Lady Midnight.
Yep.
Yeah, all
basically half the crew. And then the last one was By Any Means with myself, Jibri Bell, and Rollie Raps, and Lady Midnight. And yeah, so you guys can also get those songs off the album on Bandcamp, which is live right now.
Yeah, those, I can't even. We're all sitting here dancing in the background. People don't see that.
I think, but this is our first time watching them too, watching the cuts. And, you know, I just got to give a huge shout out to the Indian Collective LANDBACK media team for doing an amazing job. Lorenzo and Willie White and Marty for doing an amazing job with the camera work and the sound.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was just now telling them, I was like, man, y'all are magicians. This is crazy. Like the whole setup, everything we're doing. So just definitely huge shout out and so much gratitude. But I want to bring in another couple artists and ask them a few questions and have some conversation. So I think we're going to pull in Antoine Edwards and we'll pull in Lady Midnight.
Awesome. Can you guys hear us?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Awesome.
You can hear Tone?
Yep, we hear you, Tone.
Let's go. Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is just insane having this all live right now, and it's real. Like, this album's actually out. So I just want to take a moment and just like hear your thoughts. What does being a part of this album mean to you? What has it meant to you? You know, and like, yeah, just all the feelings and words around that. And we'll start off with either one of you, whoever feels like going first. Oh,
Lady
also,
Midnight.
sorry, my bad. We'll get y'all to introduce yourselves too as you're sharing.
Okay, so I'm Lady Midnight. I'm born and raised in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and been a singer, youth worker, working within community for some time now. When I got asked to do this project, I was so honored. I think it just meant like that I was able to represent, my perspective as a Black Indigenous woman, particularly around rights that face and plague our people, right? And being a woman, feeling this deep connection with the earth in my own body. So it was something that I took really seriously with a lot of respect. I know that we all did, and definitely feeling like that there were other, ancestors, there were other energies speaking through me, being able to hold these words and hold this space. So it really is a great honor. And it definitely feels like this is something that people can really relate to, that they'll be able to wake up. Because I think right now, there's a sense of urgency for collective liberation. And that's what this album means to me.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Just so much appreciation to you. Antoine, do you have any thoughts of just what this album means to you? And feel free to introduce yourself as well.
My name is Antoine Edwards. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm Oglala, Sichongu, Lakota, and Omaha. And I'm from Omaha, but I've been connected with I've connected with Nataanii and everyone on my travels. Lady Midnight up in Twin Cities, meeting through Tufawon. Rollie Raps, we met in Standing Rock years ago, but it's cool to see it all come full circle. This album means a lot. And I feel like we're given the opportunity to speak empowerment to the movement and also the people within the movement, and just give like a fire to the people. These songs that, we all created, they're empowering. They make you want to go turn up and take the land back. And also we share our emotions that we have within these moments when we feel down, and it's really powerful. It's beautiful. And I feel like it's just an honor to be able to be a part of this. This is history. All these artists that are here, they don't do this for attention. They don't do this for recognition. They do this because they love the land, they love their people, and they're passionate about music. And it feels good to be around artists that are the same as me, because I do this music and I care for the land and the people, whether there's I feel it in my heart, and I feel like we all feel it in our hearts, and there's a reason we all came together with Indian Collective. And speaking to each other when we were filming these performances, we saw that there was a reason, that this is the reason, so that we could uplift our people and put these words out there, put this medicine out there. So it's an honor. This means a lot to me. This album means a lot to me.
Thanks for that, Antoine. Yeah, I mean, I definitely echo both y'all what you're sharing. And there's been moments where, this work's hard. It's heavy sometimes. And sometimes I don't even know what next step I'm supposed to take, being the director of this campaign and, trying to do this work and show up for people and just show up every day and do what I feel like I was put on this earth to do. But sometimes it's heavy, and sometimes I don't know where I'm gonna go. But in those moments, I was telling all the artists this too, is I'll play the album. I was lucky. I've been listening to this album for a year, y'all. I know some folks are just now hearing this for the first time, but I've been really fortunate to be sitting with this and hearing this all year long. And it's been something that has really guided my work. And it's really in moments that are heavy and I forget who I am or what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll listen to the outro and that's coming up, y'all. And I'll listen to the other songs, and it just like, it pumps me up, and it reminds me when I hear y'all's voices, and I hear you speaking that power into these mics, like it reminds me where I'm supposed to be going. And so just, you know, so much gratitude for you both. But I also want to hear kind of like, you know, like what does this album, like, how does it move us towards the future? You know, we talked about how we artists radically imagine the future, right? So how are y'all thinking about that and moving from this point going forward, whether that's individual projects that you're working on, maybe there's more collaborations, things like that, but like what's next for y'all? What's coming down the line?
Do you want to go, Antoine?
I can't, if you want, okay. So I feel like through this, we're able to speak strength to our people, speak love to our people, knowledge to our people, and it only makes sense that we continue to do that with another project. You know, we've already talked about it as a collective that we want to do a part 2, and also, you know, just expand and bring more indigenous artists and uplift more voices. But personally, I have another album in the works, and you know, this work, it's not just for this album. This album came together because this work is year round for all of us. So everything that we speak on, everything that we feel, everything that we're talking about, you know, and fighting for, we're definitely continuing that as individuals. And you know, in between, you know, this music's my life. You know, I eat, sleep, breathe music. And I'm always going to be creating music and expressing myself in that way and putting my heart and myself on these beats. So it's, you know, as far as what I'm doing, I'm working on more albums, and also just looking forward to doing things like this in the future because we need it, you know, we need the unity.
Awesome, thank you for that. Lady Midnight, you want to share what's next, what's coming up, what this album, you know, fuels for you?
Yeah, I think when I was writing my like verses and even the song Energy that's on there, I was really trying to imagine how to manifest a new future, like how to be able to speak these words in a way that give it power and come like make things manifest, you know. So for me, the project is a way to move forward into the future because it is literally speaking into existence what we deserve within healing, within being able to protect our own lands, our bodies, you know, our connection to the land, to each other, to ourselves. And, you know, I think that within the LANDBACK movement, there's so much that, you know, really needs to be healed, the trauma that we remember that's connected through the land. And this music really feels like medicine. You know, music is medicine. So to be able to heal those things, you know, is a step to be able to move forward and to be able to just continue with survival. And not, you know, a survival for indigenous communities is survival for everyone. I think that it's even spoken into the outro that there's an idea that, you know, predates colonialism, which is that we're not owners of the land, we're stewards of it. We're protectors of it. And so in order to be able to put things back in balance, we need the land back. So that's what this album definitely means to me. For me personally, I do have an album that'll be coming out in spring of 2020. If anyone listening wants to follow, all my socials are I am Lady Midnight. So on IG, Facebook, Twitter, so you can follow me that way. But yeah, my music has always kind of been centered around this idea of being able to heal my own traumas and be able to share that with other people. So this is something that's close to my heart. And yeah, I'm excited for us to be able to keep doing it, you know, get together. I miss everybody already. It's such a good crew.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. We definitely miss y'all here too, like big time. You know, we came in and it was like, where's everyone at? But I'm so happy to see both y'all. I wanted to ask Nataanii something too, just about, you know, you spoke to like what the protection, right, and like LANDBACK, and like Nataanii, Antoine, and many of the artists, like we're actually out on the front lines, and like doing these things. And so just like, what does that mean to you to be someone like both, who honestly will take tear gas and then come in the studio and perform and try to like move into the future? Like, what does that mean to you to be able to do that work and carry that message?
It makes me tired just thinking about it. No, but I always tell myself, and when I went to Standing Rock, I'm a Lakota first, I'm a Dene first, I'm a Umaha first. That's who I am first. I'm a human being. And music, even though I love music, it's my first love. I always tell every girl I get with, hey, music's my first love. And I always will be, it's my healing. When it comes down to getting down and doing the work on the front line or whatever, it's that first, and then music second. And then we have music there for us when we're done with that work for right then and there. So it's a nice trade-off. But it really does mean a lot because music is motivation, and just like Lady Midnight said, music is healing. And I think for a lot of us growing up on the inner cities or in the reservations, we really turn to music. Even if we don't make music, we listen to it. You can catch our young people listening to music all the time, even if it's the most ratchetest hip-hop ever. For some reason, they find comfort in that. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of these sounds, and I'm just happy that we're able to express ourselves in this healthy way, as well as try to live up to being protectors and learning what that is. We're not we didn't grow up, sometimes with the best role models, or sometimes not even in the movement. Most of us even grew up in the movement, but we felt that calling. We feel that calling to protect, and learning what that is very important as a man, and nurturing that and taking care of that too, because it can turn into a bad thing real quick inside of you, and music helps us balance that out.
Well, thank you for that, Nataanii. We hear Nataanii talking about that, and I know that role of like protector and defender is really heavy in our culture. But also, as being a woman myself and being in the position that I'm in, being a woman, like, we're often the backbone holding these things together. And so, Lady Midnight, I want to ask you specifically of just like, having women's voices on this album, and like what that was like for you, and why, how you think that's important, of having female voices and that female energy in the studio and on this album and on this live. Just want to hear some of your thoughts and your reflections around that.
Yeah, I'm really honored, to be on this album, particularly for that reason, because I do feel that, like, as women, we do represent the earth and the land, and just our connection within our own bodies. So I think sometimes, you can feel a type of weight. I'm sure that all of us have felt when you're asked, or you feel like you represent an entire people or an entire gender or an entire, experience. And I think for me, I was able to recognize that, like, I am in connection, with all beings, and particularly women. So my perspective, even though it may be unique to me, an individual, at some level is connected to others' experiences as well. I think it's really important to include women and within this movement for that same reason, recognizing that a lot of the trauma that's happened with the land around construction of different pipelines, of different oil initiatives, breaking treaties, like that brings a lot of different man camps, which we already know the statistics around when those construction sites pop up, how many of our women and girls go missing. So I think that there's such a direct connection within this land back movement, and particularly young girls and women, that it's important that those things be acknowledged. And so I did want to bring that into the album, and I think like my song Energy is talking a little bit about that, around like a reclamation of my own body, as if it were land, as if it were a map, as if it were the earth. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And just to remind people, we are showcasing 8 or 9 songs, but the album itself is 20 tracks, so go and get that album. Tone, I wanted to ask you a question. As a traditional singer and as a R&B hip hop artist, vocalist, how do you approach, your music, your style, and mixing both to, bring it out into the world in a good way? Like, what is your process? What is your thought process on that? How did it come to be?
So growing up, I grew up in the city. We grew up all over, but landed in a city and it ended up being in Omaha and being surrounded by city culture, and wasn't around my people. But my parents kept me, taught me the ways. We went to sweat, went to ceremony, and learned how to sing. So growing up, my dad told me, when you choose this path as a singer, it's not for attention, it's not for recognition, it's not for anything like that. When you choose it, it's a lifestyle, and your voice belongs to the people. If you get called on to go sing by family or by somebody, you answer those calls, and it's a hard life. And people within our, Native people, we know how hard these positions are when you give yourself to the people in that way. And there's many different ways that we do. But people ask me all the time, do you still sing ground dance songs? Do you still sing traditional, sing blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sing till I die, till I can't sing anymore. And that's what it means to be a singer. So in our way, our songs, our ceremonies, everything, we have songs for everything, and it all surrounds it. So that was how I fell in love with singing. I fell in love with our songs, our traditional songs. And I just would listen to them all the time. There's a point in my life when I said, no, turn that hip hop off. I don't want to hear none of that. Put the sweat songs on. But now here I am. I'm rapping. But I fell in love with this style because I could say things more detailed, and I could speak on different things within this music. And I loved how it came together on a beat. And I remember hearing people in studios talking about, man, like, we got to figure something new. We got to something fresh, something unique. And I was like, for me, we are unique because our voices aren't heard, As indigenous artists, we get out there and we speak our truth. That's unique. We share our songs. That's unique. So that's, I'm going to sing on these beats. I'm going to sing traditional. You see it in the LANDBACK song. And I wanted to blend it so that when people listen to my music, they know, okay, or they question, what is that? What? And I tell them, those are vocals that, that's how we sing traditionally, but I'm just blending the two. And it's a good representation. And the goal is to get our voices heard and uplift all my Native people. As artists, me and Tani, we talk about this all the time. The goal, our reason for wanting to blow up and get to this level is so that we can kick these doors down and bring our Native people up and show people, look, there's Native businesses, there's Native artists, singers, there's Native everything that needs to be heard. Also our struggles, also missing, murdered indigenous women that needs to be talked about, and actions need to be taken on major scales, And as artists, we have a voice that can inspire, and that's what we want to use our voices to do. So when we push this, we're using it to get our fans, build our fan bases, and to bring who we are to the limelight in mainstream media. You know, we need that mainstream media attention so that we can bring our people up and be heard. Our voices, we need to sit at those tables. You know, so it's just my way of kind of grounding and setting that foundation that I'm a native artist, and this is unique. That can't be replicated. It can't be copied. You know, because this is us. This is who we are. It's not, oh, that sounds pretty dope, I'm gonna copy that. No, like, this is actually the way we sing, you know. So that's kind of my reasoning behind singing and just wanting to bring who I am onto these beats and not just a regular artist. I'm a native artist. So you hear that in my songs.
Oh, we blonde. Sing something, Dan. Just kidding.
Back me up, man.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for sharing. I know that all of us here actually right now on screen, like we all work with youth too. Like Tani, Tone, and I, like, we did youth workshops way back in the day, trying to get youth to do, like, create some lyrics and some verses and put it together. And, and I, Lady Midnight, like, you do a lot of the same thing too. And, I know, like, Gunner and some of the Tufa, some of the other folks too, all do that. So, I know that we are, we're all holding many different roles. And so I'm curious if y'all want to share, like, where people can go to follow your work and to support your work. So share your handles. And then also, like, what's coming up for y'all? Like, what are some things to look forward to where people can support you and show up? So whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. I just want to really give, like, thank you guys. Tone was talking a little bit about that around just showing people that we have the capacity as Indigenous people to do so many things. And this is just really showing Indigenous excellence to me right now. So thank you guys for having us. Shout out to the whole crew, to you, Krystal, to Sunny, Nadia, Demetrius. I got to think of Willie, Marty, like Smudge, the puppy out here holding it down. Like Kim, Nick, like y'all have been so incredible. But if you guys want to follow me, you can look me up at I Am Lady Midnight. You can also search me on all streaming platforms, Lady Midnight. You can find some of my former work. I recently released a remix album to a solo album I released called Death Before Morning. And that's a piece that talks a lot about grief and talks a lot about being able to kind of like make space for joy. If you're in the Twin Cities and you want to support me, please come out to my show December 23rd. Or if you're in the area, I'm essentially going to be playing that album one last time with my band. And it's a multidisciplinary piece featuring dancers, puppeteers, poets. We're essentially going to throw a ceremony to honor, what has been, what can't be, and to bring in new life. So if you can come through, please come through. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that's so exciting. Y'all follow her, go to her social media, catch her on those live performances too. Yeah. Yeah. And Tone, any last words? Where can people follow you, and what's coming up for you?
Tone. So you mentioned the youth work. I founded a brand / movement / just collective called All Season. And we've been doing all season youth camps where we teach kids how to make music, shoot videos for them. And, we're expanding on that. And a lot of us within this album are all season. And, so a lot of youth work goes through there. Follow me, Antoine X Music, ANTOINE X Music, just all platforms. And last words, I just want to say that this album, I'm thankful to be on it. The balance that we talked about with Lady Midnight and Bear and Liv being there, it was beautiful, to have that balance in the voices and the words that were shared. And these performances, this is the first time we saw them. That shit is lit. Broccoli
is lit.
Won it all. I'm shout out to Indian Collective media team. Shout out to Indian Collective, Krystal, Nick. When we, from the idea to now and just seeing it, it's beautiful. I was over here in my seat and I turned the club lights on. That's how it got me going. But I'm excited for everyone out there to listen to the album, listen to it. Blood, sweat, and tears, not blood, but sweat and tears went into this album. And
little blood.
It's a beautiful thing. So, little blood. Tap in. Album drop tomorrow. Majority of the proceeds will go to all the artists, and it's available right now. You guys have the option to send more if you want, but just get it and listen to it and feel it. I really want everyone to listen to the outro because it's. I'll just let you listen to it. But yeah, follow me on all platforms. Follow me on all platforms. Follow Lady Midnight. Follow all the artists on all platforms, and keep up with everybody because there's a lot of big moves coming.
So much gratitude for all y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all always. Oh yeah, I gotta do transition. So we're gonna transition over to Remedy. This song was brought to us by Tufawon last year when we were recording. For the first week, it was me, Tone, and Gunner, and we did 6 sessions total, all of us. But the first 3 sessions was us. And Tufawon came up and he was like, I got this song, man, but it's talking about what life is like after LANDBACK. Like, what do we get? What happens like when we get the land back? Do we ever think about that? And like let's talk about the love and like doing stuff and growing and just being free. Like, can you imagine that? Just being free. And I was like, yeah, I could. I was free a little bit in Standing Rock, but yeah, I knew where he was coming from. So this song embodies that. It embodies freedom. It embodies LANDBACK.
Also, this is my mom's favorite song.
Hey.
Shout out, Mom.
Always.
Shout out, moms.
Shout out my mommy, too.
Hey, shout out to moms.
Mom. Keep watching. I'm mom.
All the moms.
Here's Remedy.
We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories.
Envisioning the scenery with mountains and peaks and glacier-fed water in the creek. Sounds so sweet. Sweet grass as we ride to the beat. Cruise through a valley with the clouds and the heat from the sun. Races our skin so radiant, we taking it in. And it's enough, enough to go around, enough for everyone. Enough for us to all feel loved, and nobody is above anyone. Feel high without the drugs. Grow our own damn bud, and that's in the plans. Hemp farm, grow 10-foot cannabis plants. CBD oils and butternut squash, just using with different recipes, making our own sauce with red chilies and songs we can all sing along to. Build our own villages we all move on to, free from the pollution, contamination, with the cleanest water and air, that's the resolution.
We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories.
So we feed the fire, keeping it to ceasefire. On our knees, police hired, wounded knee, unleashed sour, pressed for peace and peace of mind. Broken leases, treaty signed, buried seeds and now they grow. Grow slowly, carrying cool, as we grow to know our roots. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our history, victory. No mystery, we're strong now, making this story. Give thanks to and gain strength through a high power and a dark style. We all the light, burning through the night, we lit. Yeah. Woke now, won't slow down, we hit. Yeah. Still here, we going out like this. Still here, we going out like, just growing out like, our hearts pouring out like this. Yeah. Just zoning out like this, yeah, 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 yeah. Inside of your spirit, make sure that fire stays lit. Say what? Fire stays lit. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories.
Yeah. Energy reciprocated, the type of synergy that can't be imitated. I'm talking corn, red, blue, and orange. Your smile like the sunset, your beauty so foreign to me. You must be from the east, so tell me what your people grew to eat. I'm talking food sovereignty and everything in between. We can get lost in our dreams and lose reality. It's just you and me. I finally found this freedom and now I need to let it grow. I'm an eagle in the garden of Eden and watch me grow. Than what we believe in. I hope you know all this talking that I'm doing is not for show. This is the start of a new era, so hold my hand and tell me that you ain't scared of fighting for this land. Cause everything we do is Creator's chosen plan.
Learn to live through these moments so we overstand. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories. We need that energy. I said we need that energy. Out back with the remedies, grown with our own specialties and our recipes, passed down through our memories.
Tufa, you ever think about what LANDBACK would look like after we got the land back?
And I think about that all the time, bro.
That might be the remedy.
I think it is, bro. I think it is. It's the remedy.
We need that. We need that. Pass down through.
Cut.
Welcome back, everybody. Go, Krystal.
Yeah, this is all live, y'all, so you get us like full natural here. Yeah, so that was Remedy. Really, really powerful song. Like I said before, that's like my mom's favorite song. You know, she actually pulled Nataanii and Gunner and Tufa into Alive on her program because it talks about food sovereignty. It talks about all of the radical imagining of what's possible when we reclaim our land. Mm-hmm. Not if, but when we reclaim our land, these are the things that we're thinking about. These are the things that we're building. You know, and as an organizer and someone who both, you know, will hit the front lines, I'll organize some things, we'll do an album, you know, we'll work in an office sometimes, things like that. Like, it's important that we are building and creating and imagining just as much as we are fighting and dismantling and defending. And like, that's for me what this song and what this album represents is us being able to do all of that. We are fully capable of those things. And so, yeah, I just have a lot of gratitude for that song in particular and the way that it holds the future for us. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Krystal. And we're lucky to have the curator of the song coming on next. And we also have Liv, the artist, coming on as well to join us in the conversation.
Awesome. Welcome, Tufa. Welcome, Liv. Excited to have y'all here with us. You know, we're really excited and just like thank you both for the patience too. I know we've all been like on, logging off, get back on, all of that, but thank you for hanging in there and your patience with us as we, you know, figured things out. But just really thankful to have you both here. You know, really quickly, want to just dive right in and let y'all both introduce yourselves quickly, and then I'll jump into a round of questions. We can start with Liv.
Hamara we Nataanii sa Olivia Komachi, Pisi Anamasutani Vai. I go by Liv the Artist. I'm a multi-instrumentalist and score composer, producer on Comanche land, coming at you from Oklahoma, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you here. We'll go over to Tufa.
What up, my people? Mitakebi. My name is Tufawon. From the Twin Cities. I'm Medewa Kantuan Dakota and Boricua, and I am a rapper, producer, singer, writer. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here and see everything come together and just kind of, you know, be here with everybody. Also, just like the whole recording process was amazing, and yeah, just totally blessed, and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both for coming on and joining us today, and yeah, being a part of this. You know, so I'll just jump right in and just wanted to hear from both of y'all, you know, what being a part of this album means to you, what LANDBACK means to you, and yeah, like what just some thoughts and reflections on that. We can go with whoever wants to jump in first.
I'll go first. I think out of everything, it was really great to see all of these artists come together from different backgrounds all around the country, and even on like a last minute basis, just give it their all and have their own perspectives on what LANDBACK means to them individually. And it was really great to witness that and collaborate with these awesome musicians and creatives and just spending time with them face to face and being in the same room together and creating on the spot, and good vibes all around. It was great to interact with everybody and create something good.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Tufa, you have any thoughts on what being a part of this album means and what LANDBACK means to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many different levels and layers to LANDBACK, and you know, for us, a lot of us are out there, have been out there, you know, on the front lines and, you know, fighting for our people. Many of the artists in this group I actually met out during the No Dapple resistance, fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline, and a lot of relationships were built off of, you know, through that fight and that effort. And, you know, the crew that I was with at the time just so happened to be, you know, rappers and singers, and we all kind of crewed up from there. And so that energy, you know, of resistance, of protest, of, you know, being indigenous people fighting for the land and the water and for the planet and for our culture, fighting this genocide that we face, you know, that already existed. And I feel like this album was a great way for us to express that and portray that through music. We're artists that, you know, we do multiple things. A lot of us are you know, as we mentioned earlier in the program, a lot of us are youth workers, and you know, we're out here, boots on the ground kind of people, working directly, you know, with our communities. And so to hear that come together sonically is something really special, because it's a real representation of who we are and what we do when we're out there in our communities. It is not only is it a real representation, but it's also fly. It's dope. It's fun. You know, it's you know, there's all kinds of styles that we use. And so, yeah, I mean, LANDBACK to the people, I hear that. And when I think of that, I think about not just the physical land and what we talk about in the songs, but also, you know, like in the song Remedy, we think about what it would be like after we get the land back, right? And what our vision is. Really, Remedy is like a vision, you know, of what it would be like. And for me, that means, you know, more than the physical land back, but, you know, what happens on the land when we get it back? What kind of spaces are created during that time? You know, and I envision places where we can create, where we can build and share ideas, places where we can talk, places where we can socialize and hang out in a safe place, places where we can invite, you know, new people in, places where we can, you know, do art and all of the things that make us feel free. And for us, that means art. That means music. So being in the studio with all of y'all, you know, that was a glimpse of that. This album is a glimpse of that. And so moving forward, it's like, now it's like, okay, how do we fight for that? You know what I mean? But yeah, so there's levels and there's layers to it. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts on it, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Like it, yeah, I mean, that just feeds into all the conversation that we've been having, right? And that when we're all here together, just, yeah, all of that. So thank you for sharing that. I do want to ask Liv, specifically around, she's in one song, but like this one song is definitely one of the most powerful pieces that came out of this album, and one of the most powerful moments that the artists themselves got to experience together, and then that we later got to experience with y'all. And so I just want to hear some of your thoughts, about the outro, and like maybe some of your lyrics, and like just, what you were holding when you're in that space with the outro and on that one song.
I remember being out in the studio with everybody, and it was the last bit of studio recording time. Everyone was laying down all the last minute tracks, layers, and I came out, and we didn't really know what we wanted to do 100% yet, but I had my guitar, and we all said, let's do like an outro, kind of like close out, encapsulating everyone's thoughts and getting emotionally wrapped up in what is the intention that we're trying to put behind this whole album at the end of the day. Like, what are we trying to say? And it's a lot of heartfelt stuff that each artist gets to spit and have their own moment. And so I remember plugging my guitar into the booth and then just taking about 2 takes, and everyone's in the same room vibing, writing out their own lyrics of however it speaks to them, whatever I'm playing. And then we all take our turns getting in the booth and just spitting out whatever we wrote down. And I feel like the way we went about it in the studio, it felt like it was so raw and authentic, because we didn't have time to sit and perfect things. It was just like, first thing that comes to mind, get in the booth, spit it, and be real. Whatever comes out and whatever comes to your head first is what you're gonna say. And so I feel like the outro encapsulates a lot of the feelings that went on in the studio, what LANDBACK means to us. And it's really beautiful because it's like a 13-minute outro, and it's almost like a spoken word. And I say in the last bit, when we do watch the outro, is wake up someone by speaking to them, and then stand up in Comanche. And that's a saying that I say. And I wrote, as we were recording in South Dakota over this past weekend, that I came up with last minute as well. And I feel like the music speaks more than what I could say in words. And so I'm just very grateful for everyone to be on that same resonance and frequency, and being able to tap into what we really feel LANDBACK is to us as a whole.
Yeah, man, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, hands down, the outro is just, one of the most powerful pieces, like, because what you said, it's so raw in people, y'all, you're going to hear it here in a bit. I don't want to give too much away, but, it's powerful. So thank you for sharing that, Liv. Like, I really appreciate that, and some insight into a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I want to ask Rafa quickly before we move into another song. I want to keep the people waiting too long for the music, but I did want to ask you a little bit. We had conversations about like music being timeless, and like how what we're doing now, is going to be something that like our descendants listen to and what they hear. Just wanted to hear if you had a few thoughts and reflections on that quickly before we transition to our next songs. But wanted to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, totally. I think with this album, what I really like is the variety of sounds and styles and voicings. We're not sticking to one single subgenre or anything. And for me, I feel like that's dope because it represents, you hear some boom bap in there, you hear some drill in there, you hear the guitar being played by Liv, and her stylings and all of these different sounds that we bring. And I feel like in a way that's in a powerful way that represents who we are as Native people, so many different nations, right? But also at the same time, it's very cohesive because we stuck to a theme, and it's an album. I mean, some people might look at it as a compilation, but I really do genuinely look at it as an album simply because we did follow a theme, and there was, you know, that in mind when we went into the songs. And so as far as like it being timeless, I mean, you know, even just being Native people making music, I mean, we've been, you know, our communities have been faced with, you know, we've experienced genocide, you know, and the largest genocide in our world history, you know what I mean? So anything that we do is like, is preserving who we are, you know, and that transcends time alone, you know. And I think creating these spaces is super important, you know, for us because of that. And so the fact that we got together and got in the studio and created this project is something not only super dope and vibing, skillful, colorful, and all of that, but it's historical. You know, this is going to be remembered for a really long time, and I think that's powerful, that's beautiful, and I'm really proud to have been a part of that, you know, piece of this piece of history, and doing it with such an amazing group of people is you know, it's humbling, it makes me happy, and you know, I'm just excited to continue on this work that we do so we can keep creating timeless music.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I always love your perspective and your take on this. Yeah. So quickly, before we transition to our next song, Nataanii will introduce it, but I want to hear, like, where do people go to support y'all, you know, and what's coming up next. We'll do that really quickly, and then we'll transition over to our next song.
So you can find me on Live the Artist, Olivia Comachit, search engines, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. What I have coming up is music, new music that I've been writing, a lot of different acoustic stuff that intertwines Comanche language, and I'm doing some score composing that I have to keep a secret still, but if you follow me, then I'll keep you up to date on that when it's ready to drop. And yeah, that's where you can find me and what I'm up to.
Nice, thank you. All right, Tufa?
Yeah, it's Tufawon across platforms, Tufawon. And I released loads of music this year alone. And to top it all off, we have the LANDBACK album. So you can check out all of my current music across all streaming platforms, as well as Bandcamp and SoundCloud, pretty much everywhere. Yeah, moving forward, what I really want to do is just spend this winter time working on creative projects. It's a really great time to work. I have my studio here in Minneapolis, and what I want to do is I want to release, you know, several different projects next year, and I haven't even really thought about, you know, exactly what those are going to sound like, but the idea of doing I feel like mini versions of like LANDBACK, where I, you know, get together with a small crew of artists, get together, work in the studio, and release like EPs and things like that. So really excited for collaboration, all the new music that's going to be made this winter, and yeah, that's mostly it. I'm just going into a period of making loads and loads of music and content, more youth work, and you know, also brainstorming ways to like actively you know, actively get the land back, right? We're talking about all of these themes and concepts in our songs and in our music, but how are we as artists like going beyond and outside of the music as well to do that. So, you know, thinking about acquiring land here in Dakota territory and in Puerto Rico and, you know, different places, and, you know, living out what we're talking about in our songs, you know, so that's another strategy moving forward. But yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man. Thank you guys. Thank you, Liv and Tufa, two artists that I really admire and I've worked with before. Both of them, well, actually, both of them are on my album Balance. Go cop that. So thank you guys so much. And the next track we're getting into, I'm hyped about this one. I love this song. This one's called Pop Out. Pop Out. Ooh.
Hey, hey. I cannot fuck with the way that it move. I cannot be number two when it choose. Can't understand that I don't ever lose. All I get stuck with love like ooh. Something about me just get to the core. Mad cause I don't even know what's in store. Dropping it by cause it's high in the mains. Youngies won't follow, they know wanna pop out, pop out, pop out. Ooh, 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 pop out, yeah. I'm a whatever. See me swerving, baby wanted on my ladder. Hop in, hop in, hop in. Let's ride. They want my head. I feel so alive. I got these demons. That's just what they wanna call them. I wanna keep them. Weak one's the only one who never won. Or how we perceive them. Swear my everyday's a movie. I've been dreaming this for lifetime. House and Peyton's where they groovy. Youngers are shooting. Youngers are shooting. Americans at the target. Gotta spell that shit with 3Ks. All gas, or can I lead it or hold it down for all the people who live in the trenches, the place that we come from? I got these problems for any one of y'all who run in your mouth. We can pull up and dump them.
Facing all my demons and they chasing. Now I'm fading off the Henny and the Rammy got me pacing. Paranoid off the Kush like they lace. Dodging bullets like the Matrix. I'm too faded. Better never switch up, still with my day ones flicked up. This is portrayed, sign ain't none for me. Do this like every day. I've been going hard in the paint. PTSD all on my face. I cannot sleep. I can police from the west to the east. West of the streets.
West of the streets. Pop out, pop out, pop out, pop out. Ooh, pop out, pop out, pop out. Ooh, pop out, pop out, pop out. Ooh, pop out, pop out, pop out.
Tufawon. Nighttime glow with a moon so lit, and they pop out whenever the group go in, and it's too lit. On a night like this or a trip like that, and I might get back to work. Grind on like clockwork, supply and demand, tag on the shirt and a song that works. Hop up on the guest list with a +1, customize and go nuts when I bust one. Passport path through customs, plenty of times when we hustling, living this life for the people, inspiring, be the example, letting these youngins know they have value. Stay in some prison, put out some tobacco. Ay.
It ain't hard to choose when we got all these options. I'll pick the one that'll get the most profit. Ain't about how much that we have in common. Talking about commas and ends on a conscience. Best as they call them, no guess to be cautious. Judging the character so you don't cost it. So fuck with the government, fuck on the policy. You gotta make me turn into a monster. Shoving up late shit. Still in the basement. I'm trying to keep up with the cadence. Patience, payment. How much should I pay for the placement? On Spotify playlist. Buy equipment off of Craigslist. One up for the fam that I'm blessed with. Pop out, pop out, pop out. Ooh, 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 pop out, pop out, pop out. Yeah. Pop out, pop out, pop out. LANDBACK. Pop out, pop out, pop out. LANDBACK. Pop out, pop out, pop out. LANDBACK. Pop out. LANDBACK. Pop out. LANDBACK. 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 Pop out. LANDBACK. LANDBACK.
Man, that one goes hard.
Pop out. Love that song, man.
Oh man, we were all so pumped for that song.
Man, oh man. Shout out to Tone on that one. He headed that one up. It was lit. We heard him right into it in the car, and we're on our way to the Arizona Mills Mall, and we just were like wrote our verses real quick.
Man, yeah, I definitely been running to that one. Obviously not a lot, but whenever, that's the one, it gets you. Yeah, man, so we know we've held y'all here for a long time. We got a late start, and just want to express my gratitude to each one of you for sticking with us and listening to the album, at least pieces of it. You know, if you want to hear the whole thing, definitely go to Bandcamp, purchase it. You know, support these artists and like uplift their voices and go support their other work that they're doing outside of the album as well. So just a lot of gratitude to each and every one of you for hanging in there today. And also just want to thank each and every one of the artists. You know, they just brought so much. I can't even say all the words that I want to say for how much gratitude and appreciation I have for what they brought to this album. And to you, Nataanii and Antoine, for like bringing people together, you know, and for standing with us on July 3rd. And, you know, we were arrested together that day. We've been on some other front lines together. And so I just have a lot of gratitude, too, for, you know, continuing to show up whenever I call and like when we're doing things. And, you know, I will continue to do the same, you know, as we go forward.
And I'm always there.
Definitely. And, you know, I also want to shout out a lot of the folks behind the scenes. Like we said earlier, you know, a production like this is massive. There's so much work that goes into this and like unseen labor. And so I want to acknowledge and recognize my team, you know, Nadia and Demetrius, for the work that they've been doing. Nadia's not even on site. She's like in a vehicle driving and she's still trying to hold down support. Demetrius, like just all of the things, holding down chat and showing up. Want to just shout out Jordan Bryn, especially for the, you know, for the album art. That's all him, you know, and his vision. And also, he showed up here and set up all of this, the audio, and made sure everything was set and stayed up late, like super late, as the artists were all coming in and did sound check with us. And, you know, that's time away from his family. That's time away from his daughters, and so I just want to shout out him for sacrificing that time with them and being here and making sure we were set. You know, Willie, this whole thing, everything you see in these performances and that vision, that's Willie. That's Willie White and his vision, and like I wasn't even expecting that. And it was so powerful, and I'm just honored to be a part of it, you know. And then Lorenzo Serna, you know, who we have running this whole performance, this whole production, you know, and just coming with their passion and their knowledge and their experience and putting it together so we can be here. Just so much gratitude. And Georgianne, their partner, you know, for sacrificing and coming along and, you know, being here with us as well. I know we get pulled away from our families a lot for this kind of work. You know, and so just a lot of gratitude and appreciation for all of our families and the people that have to sacrifice time with us while we're doing these things. You know, like all of us here in the studio, we're not with our families today. And so, you know, it is a sacrifice. I also want to shout out, you know, Nick Tilsen, who believed in this album from the start, you know, and was here, you know, had to pull him away from being here with us. And then also my little sister and Kevin. And they, you know, they came and they showed up and were like little production assistants and supported in many different ways, prevented Lorenzo from running into some people with all the gear, you know, and Nelly supporting, and Marty, you know, just shout out Marty for showing up and running the sound while we were here and staying up and putting in many hours last night, making sure all the last minute details were set, pulling in his connections, his networks to make sure the album got amplified. So, you know, a lot of work went into this, and there's just so much gratitude and love to give to everyone. And lastly, I just want to, you know, shout out, like, this is a LANDBACK album, and we're not here just as like artists removed from community or any of that. In fact, it's the direct opposite. They're here as artists that are directly from their community, representing their community and uplifting the voices and the experiences from community and from our people and from the front lines especially. And so I want to shout out all of the, you know, the frontline people and like the land defenders, water protectors, everyone who's out there right now at this very moment, those that are still in jail right now, those that are sacrificing comfort. You know I got brothers out on the front line right now up in Minnesota, line 3. I got some over in Wet'suwet'en territory. You know, they're definitely getting hit hard right now, so go support these front lines. You know, we're fighting here in the Black Hills to reclaim that. We have several different strategies, so you know we're doing that work. Oak Flat's trying to reclaim, you know, our relatives down there trying to reclaim the relationship to Oak Flat. Our Hawaiian relatives, you know, Kanaka relatives that are down there trying to reclaim their lands, you know, their entire kingdom. In our relatives in Palestine, you know, the folks out in Scotland that are fighting around LANDBACK. You know, LANDBACK's a global movement, and there's people out there like in the struggle right now. And hopefully this album reaches them, and hopefully they hear this and it gives them energy and the fuel and the motivation to keep pushing. Like, we see you, we see your sacrifice, we see the work you're doing, and you know, we call on people that are watching this to go support them too. You know, purchase the album and also go support those relatives that are out there on the front lines right now. So just with that, I just want to thank everyone, you know, and say Niya'ish, you know, from the bottom of my heart. There's so much love and gratitude right now. You know, I'm going to be carrying this with me for a long time to come. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, Nataanii. You know, whatever closing words, and then maybe introduce our final song.
It's just, well, Krystal said it all, you know, and this album is accumulation of years of going through it. I feel like, you know, it's a lot of emotion and feelings into it. It's a lot of growth in music as well. With the artists, and we've traveled all over, you know, as artists and musicians. We've traveled the North America. We've been on tours in Europe, you know, and we've grown a lot. But we've also been very active in our communities throughout the years. We've been very active in doing the work within ourselves to become better people. After certain fights and stuff like that, where we were very hit with a lot of trauma, you know, and having to work through those things and really walk through the mud. So this album is by the people, for the people. And I said this to these guys before. They asked for a quote. You know, it's every revolution needs a soundtrack. And musicians, artists, and any kind of suppression by any government or empire or fascist movement, the artists are the first ones targeted. And with that said, in those regimes or whatever governments, artists are the first ones utilized for propaganda. So it goes both ways, you know. As an artist, you're either free to do your work, or you're forced to do some kind of work. And here, with what we did with this album, we were given the freedom to create what it means to fight for your land, what it means to bleed for it, to cry for it, you know. And we know that feeling. We know what it's like to lose. We know what it's like to be hurt, to go to jail, to be shot at, non-lethals and lethals. We know what it's like to grow up on the res around the addicts and around the drunks and around the violence, domestic violence. We also know what it's like to grow around the beauty, around ceremony, around our songs. I've seen a couple comments, you know, addressing where's the traditional music, where's the drum, where's this and that. And I say this constantly wherever I go. That's for me. I can go home right now and I can go to a ceremony. I can go into Inipi. I can go to Sweat. You know, that's for me. It's not for the TV. You know, I grew up in two worlds. That's what we all did. And we use this music. We've adopted it to help us heal, to help us reach audiences that don't know about who we are as indigenous people. You know, so thank you for having patience with us. Thank you for having love and understanding with us as artists. And I want to give a big shout out again to Indian Collective for the work they do, you know, and it doesn't go unnoticed. You know, a lot of people here come from Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, which is the poorest reservation in the country. Indian Collective is providing a lot of resources to that place for these kids, for these young people that have dreams. Indian Collective is doing that. No one else is doing that. They're patrolling these streets right here in Rapid City where so many people have been killed, homeless people. They patrol it day and night. You know, they have teams out there, you know, and it's not easy for them. So I ask, you know, that you recognize that and that, you know, thank you for your support. This next and last song is the outro, and it was produced by Liv, the artist, who you guys just seen. Amazing Comanche woman who's doing amazing things with her community. And this song is a piece of everyone's hearts on one track.
LANDBACK, acknowledging what our ancestors fought and died for. Our existence, identity, we're still here. Resiliency, genetic memory, spiritual connections to Unchimakha and those who gone before us. Strength through belief and prayer, through family, through taking action. LANDBACK is a movement, acknowledging ourselves as the caretakers and protectors of the land. LANDBACK is hope, dreams for a brighter future for our Wakanja, future generations. Wolakota, traditional values, oral tradition, language, songs, heartbeat. LANDBACK is sovereignty, peace, truth, treaties, prophecies. Seventh generation. An indigenous-led revolution to save ourselves from ourselves. LANDBACK is taking action. LANDBACK is taking back what was rightfully owned by no one, and to keep it that way. A concept that's hard to grasp. Pre-1491, post-2020. LANDBACK.
Wopila Chia. Time is of the essence, best be invested. This requires full attention, don't miss your exit. This message is bigger than any weapon. LANDBACK, the last time it'll be requested. LANDBACK, through these studio sessions. LANDBACK, stay blocking off intersections. LANDBACK, by submitting votes by any means necessary. Or stay alone.
Years went by, we watched the world die. They watched it happen and just stood by. They say that the good guys, all we seen is evil. Need that land back, split between the people. To my mother, I'm so sorry how we keep you. I feel love when you take me into your arms. I forget all the harm, I get lost when we fall apart. It's been hard to find balance, mama. Struggling to find strength, it's been a challenge, mama. You toughen me up for the hardest battles, mama. Fighting to get you back, you know we had to, mama. I'm sorry for the way we left you. Best believe we're on our way to come and get you. We're on our way. I miss the blue skies. I miss the thunder. I miss the bright stars. I sit and wonder. We can't be too late. Just hold on a little longer. We're on our way. Yeah, yeah. We're on our way, yeah, yeah, yeah.
We are the soil, we are the air, we are the water flowing everywhere. When we destroy it, we destroy our own selves, killing off our own bodies, believing in what they tell us and what they've told us through every lie, with every broken treaty that wasn't televised or publicized, hidden or covered up and erasing our history, continue genocide in the ways in which they terrorize, sterilizing our women and breaking up our families, killing the land, yet we're still We love you, mother, we are your children, you give us life, all of the elements necessary to live it right. And when the madness disrupts you and it's so hard to breathe, you will wipe everything clean till we are all free. 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 You will wipe everything clean till we are all free.
Land back, we've watched, we've waited. Some of our own people lost, assimilated. Some of our own traditional ways of praying, hated. Due to the lies and fears shoved down our children's throats in boarding schools. My grandmother, her mother, my grandfather and his father. Kill the Indian, save the man. Save the Indian, save the land. Call me Umaha. Fuck America. Say it with me. Fuck America. We need the land back. We need our connection to the land back. I remember standing with my brothers and sisters while the police and National Guard shot us, maced us, tear gassed us, ripped teepees down, pulled our people out of Inipi in the middle of ceremony, in the middle of their prayers. Land back now or die sooner than later. I close my eyes and I think of our ancestors, how powerful they were, how beautiful it must have been to sit with them and listen to their stories, listen to their laughs, speaking our languages and singing our songs. The air is so calming, singing us all to sleep under a beautiful starlit sky. Stars brighter than I can even imagine. Water so pure, flowing free from contamination. Every deep breath is truly a fresh breath of air. The most beautiful time and place. Familiar views, familiar sounds, familiar energies recognized by the tallest trees and oldest stones. We are our ancestors. Give the land back. Kill the Indian, save the man. Save the Indian, save the land. Call me Lakota. Fuck America. Say it with me. Fuck America. Land back.
receiving and releasing the flow of energy without illness. The land of my body and mind through my sovereign will, bestowed to me by our Creator, shall no longer be misused for the satisfaction of wicked intentions. Not even by my own attempt. Through my own healing in accordance with the natural laws of creation, I reclaim all my lands for generations and raise them to the highest vibration from now until eternity. Namahuwe, kakinawat, omedeo.
We gotta work together if we want change for the better. Take back what is owed, gotta go big, cause this world is our home we share, so I know I'm not alone. Gotta face the facts and have no fear, persevere, recognize the severities to gain clarity in solidarity, not for popularity, a different kind of energy. We got sacred entities blessing us on the daily life is only temporary. I carry my medicine, it's a part of my regimen. Prayers for the people like to dark skin melanin. Respect all differences and elements. I'm in this for the betterment, not the Benjamins. Cause I'm native, not American. Stop the debating and the hatred is long awaited. Nothing is changing, gotta go back to basics. We keep it old school, it's how we originated. If you wanna live and say you're about it, then you're obligated. You're obligated. Suhwe Bodaki, Suhwe Mokitu, Ohwetan Mahwe Daina, Ta'a, Kansamu Yawiwa, Mahumi.
Wake someone by speaking to them through thought, deed, word, song, and prayer. Toba Ita, stand up for what is right, what is true, and continue to speak our truth for everyone healing as a whole. Land back.
Shouting from the roofs outside, hear them say, don't know where we're going, but we got that land back there. Shouting from the roofs outside, hear them say,
land back. Land back. One day, la 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 la. Land back. Land back. It's what we fighting for. What we fighting for. Land back. Need that la 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 la. Land back. Land back. It's what we fighting for. Land back. Need that la